All right, welcome to the course Linux Scripting 4053 here at Alfred State College. If you're not an Alfred State student, there should be a few assumptions that you should be aware of. First of all, most of our students have taken Programming 1, and the things that we're going to go over for Bash scripting, which this course is based on, is going to be how to use Bash, not necessarily how to program, the programming logic of scripting or programming languages in general. The second thing you need to be aware of, there is portions of this course that's going to be using Python, particularly with regular expressions. And then at the end of the course, I will likely be going over how to create a web app and interfacing that with a Bash script. So with that said, do be aware of what we expect out of the people that are starting out here. If you are an Alfred State student and you don't know who I am, my name is Justin Briggs, and I will be the professor for this course, and I am going to be recording these lectures before the semester starts, so you have resources to plan out and get ahead if you choose to do so. The other thing that we need to talk about is that the course itself is based on scripting with a little bit of admin, but not a whole lot. We're primarily focusing on your ability to create and analyze scripts. So with that said, let's get into some of the overview, some of the syllabus work that we have to cover here at Alfred State. So first thing that we got to go over is the learning outcomes, what we expect out of the students walking out of this course. Okay, so we're looking at general administration for Linux admins. So we're talking users, groups, basic things like permissions, and if you can get those down, we're going to be okay. Again, we're trying to focus on scripting and not necessarily the admin portion of it, but they go hand in hand because you need to automate a lot of the admin portions with your Linux script if you want to be successful in your career. Understanding of file systems, in particular with Linux, there is no not directory, but registry like Windows. Everything is a file. So as soon as you understand where everything lives and how this file system is created, Linux is actually quite a bit easier, in my opinion, than what Windows is, but it is a learning curve and it is a fundamentally different paradigm than what Windows is, and more than likely, you're very used to Windows, so it's going to be a learning curve. Okay, text processing. So, hey, we have this text file, has something in there like phone numbers. We need to change a particular phone number. Let's go ahead and automate that process. Again, that's going to require regular expressions. System configuration, so installing software, drivers, users, groups, things like that. Even network settings we can do as well. Probably not going to cover it in this course, but if we find some time, we might cover it. Software packages. Okay, we're primarily going to be using Snap. We can use repositories the traditional way, but Snap is really good these days, and anytime you need a separate repository, typically there's a tutorial for that. So network configurations, basic ones, hey, let's make sure you're on the right domain, Active Directory, things like that. File backups, rsync, we'll cover it. Scripting and automation is a big focus on this, and then CLI interface is going to be a big focus as well. A lot of our students struggle with this. We need practice. We're not exactly sure why it's such a challenging concept as of recently, but we'll work through it, we will adapt, and we will figure out what is going on with that. But this is a CLI focused course, so we'll be focusing a lot in the terminal, and then when we're not in the terminal we're not going to be using any type of desktop environment in terms of the primary means of getting around. We will have a desktop environment, but it's going to be there as a fail-safe rather than our primary means of getting resources around. Okay, syllabus highlights. Okay, I don't accept late work. Okay, we all know when the due dates are. Just set up your calendar if you need to, set up reminders. Everything is due on a Friday, so there's nothing ambiguous about what's going on here. So yeah, just hit the target, make sure you turn your work in. If you misplan your life, if you forget about something, it happens, right? No one's going to judge you for that. Right? Everyone's been there. But make sure you turn in your work, all right? Zero tolerance for academic dishonesty. If I find it, it's going to be turned in, all right? We have 13 labs. There is no projects, and there are no essays or tests. We're really trying to focus on your ability to actually do something. Discussions need to be professional. We focus on conditions and content rather than the person. If there is any type of personal insults, you will be dismissed because we can't tolerate that. All right? All assignments are available on Blackboard. Everything's up. Okay? All assignments are due on Fridays, like I already said. Office hours are going to be determined. I haven't gotten my schedule yet, so I don't know. Office location still E.J. Brown 405. We'll have a Discord channel, not a Slack channel. I need to fix that here in a second. So course layout, we got to go over what Linux is. We need to go over the history of it as well, where Linux is found, hint, everywhere except for desktop. What are the primary distros? So how does these distros pop up? And then what are the primary distros that are out there? There's only 3, really. Well, there might be more than 3 in terms of primary, depends on where you draw that line. But for this course, we're going to call it the 3 primary distros. Linux GUI types, okay. File system for Linux, okay. Standard and third-party text editors, okay. I'll be using Visual Code for the most part, unless there's a reason not to, and then I'll be using Nano. Bash. Most of this course is going to be Bash, typical administration stuff, user groups, permissions, things like that, software drivers. Process manipulation, so nice for the most part. Hey, we're going to change the priority of that process. SSH, more importantly, TLS, and then scripting in Python as well. And then towards the end of the course, we'll probably have a little bit of time where I'm going to make a project making a web server and then interfacing that with your terminal, right, through sub-processes. Okay, walking out, we want you fluent and we want you fluent in Bash, essentially. That's what this is coming down to. The administration tasks that we are asking you to do as well, it's going to be very surface level. We don't have a ton of resources to completely flesh out a Linux admin environment, but yeah, well, we're going to work with what we got. So in particular, this course is a scripting course. The administration portion of this is just general things that you need to be aware of, right? The permission system's a little bit different. Users and groups are a little bit different relative to the Windows environment. Understanding relative pathing and file systems. Relative pathing, for some reason, students struggle with. This course will fix that because you're going to be very dependent on it, okay? So with that said, that was the end of the slideshow. Let's pull up the syllabus here. Okay, 4053, Linux, Unix, admin, and scripting. Course requirements, open educational resources, topics we already went over in the PowerPoint. Grading, 13 labs. Okay, so that basically equates out to 1 a week, and then finals week we'll go over how to do a web server and integrate. Okay, attendance is expected. I'm not taking attendance as a grade. What I'm striving for here is I'm going to treat you like a professional. If you need to do something else during that time, go ahead and do so. But your consequences are your own, all right? Same thing with grading. I am going to critique you like a professional. I'm going to grade you like a student. And hopefully that made sense. So if you feel like you're getting roasted in class or roasted on a particular critique, you're probably going to be okay. You're going to get graded like a student, but we need to get you to a particular point where you can intentionally analyze something and create a script. Okay? Be a decent person. That's what this comes down to. Wear reasonable clothing. You're not going to disrespect people, okay? Late assignments, I don't accept late assignments. COVID, we're going to follow the SUNY guidelines, which at the moment is going to be mask and vaccinations for all students. Academic dishonesty, we already went over, zero tolerance. Okay, hybrid and remote class formats. This is essentially saying that you as the student do not get to determine if you're going to go hybrid or remote. All my resources are online for flexibility, but if you don't show up to class and you miss something that was critical, that's on you, okay? Unless the school says that it has to be remote or hybrid for whatever reason that is, then you don't get to choose what format you get to take, even if I have the resources there and available. So that also means, since we're talking about that, most of my communication is going to be done through Discord, and anything that is very official in terms of, hey, we actually are going remote, that's going to be email. So with that said, that's going to wrap up this video and the syllabus overview for this course. Yeah, good luck with this course. It's going to be primarily a bash scripting course with a little bit of Linux admin thrown in there. Other than that, if you have questions, let me know, and I will see you in the next video.